Can we define what generative AI is and how is it used?
When deep learning was invented several years ago and started this AI machine learning revolution, the biggest task it would do was prediction. So I would say the two flavors of AI are prediction and generative. And so for prediction, you would look at a large set of data and then say, based on this historical trend, predict how the stock market's going to do, or what our earnings will be, or what's the best directions to take on Google Map. Generative did evolve from prediction. That's how the language models work, is basically you have a sentence and then it predicts what's the next word over and over and over, and that's how ChatGPT writes. And that's really when things became generative. It really felt like it could now write and speak English and create original new things. Not just predicts the next number in a set, but actually write an original poem or come up with a joke. And because of the way they work, it can actually do completely original things. I always think of Truman Burbank, one of my favorite movies, The Truman Show, trying to recreate his lost lover's face. And he would cut, a chin from one magazine and eyes from another and paste it together. But that's not generative, that's more combinational. I think really people started calling it generative AI when it could create original new concepts. And the same goes for the image generator. So it doesn't just try to take pieces of other people's images and splice them together and smooth the edges. It starts from a whole bunch of random dots and noise, and then it slowly works backwards and tries to change each dot. It does it all at once to create a whole new image. And this is really what generative AI is about, is it's creating new things, text, image, and now video. I think it's just going to get better and better and more interesting for sure.
What is Sora AI?
Yeah, so Sora is, it seemed like the right evolution. It's sort of what we predicted and built for our startup. Text would be the easiest, and then images. And video was almost inevitable. So Sora is a generative AI for video. ChatGPT does text, DALL-E 3 and others you probably heard of, Midjourney do images, and now video. The problem with video and why it took so long is when you type a palm tree on a street in California and generate an image, and then you do it again a second later on DALL-E, OpenAI's image generator, those will look completely different. And even if you try to write the prompt so detailed, it's a paragraph long, those two images will still look completely different. And so video was hard because you can't just say, draw 24 images, and then we'll just record it for a second, 24 frames a second, and then now we're making videos, because each of them, the character, for example, will look a lot different. What Sora has done is cracked the consistency problem, so you can really animate a bunch of images. It extended the length to 60 seconds. So the state of the art up until now, and what's in our app for previs, is 2 to 5 seconds of animation. So Sora can do it for 60 seconds. And you can picture how, if you have a bunch of shots in your movie per scene, some are 30, 40, 60 seconds, you could then combine them all, and that's what's called synthetic video. You don't have to film anything. It's a complete video made, possibly as long as you want, where all you're doing is telling it in text or providing images and saying, a tree like this but taller, and it will change it. And that, people predicted it, but it also scared a lot of people. Tyler Perry saw it, and I think he's shutting down an almost $1 billion investment in Atlanta, which is a shame. It's not public yet, so I don't think he's tried it. A lot of people predict it is still not ready to make cinematic videos. and you just don't have enough control over it. But it will probably be used within the next month or two to make short films that are maybe avant-garde artistic. My prediction is by the end of the year, they will have solved all the problems, and that's when it's synthetic video, which is scary to actors, people who work on movie sets, do lighting, do camera work, do costume, makeup, everything, because it is possible people will just type in and make their movies. The one thing I'll say is the quality will be low. It will not be competing with the Avengers at the box office for at least many years, maybe not ever. It's possible that AI-generated video like Sora, even 5 years from now, will never be able to create full cinematic video that's 100% at the behest of the director of photography's and the director's creative control. So I think there's space to use it, maybe some scenes for visual effects. We predict it will be used mostly by indie aspiring filmmakers, film school students, people just making short artistic videos, definitely music videos. But I would have advised Tyler Perry not to make an $800 million business decision on a 60-second demo, because we don't know if it can make a movie yet, and it's possible it never will. Possible it never will.
Why do you say it's possible it never will?
There are some problems that are not always solvable. AI is very scientific. Every single breakthrough that's happened has been a lot of work, maybe some luck, but it's still at the limit of technology. And so what creates these images is something called diffusion, which makes a bunch of randomness and then tries to reverse engineer an image. It's not Walt Disney drawing one picture and then drawing it and then moving his hand a bit, and it just works completely different. So there's a good chance to me stable diffusion will never be able to create videos where you can type exactly what you want and it looks like what you think in your head, even if you do it over and over. It's possible it will take a new scientific advancement. Now, there are some of the most well-funded, biggest, most powerful companies in the world with the smartest employees, paid the most, working on this 24/7, and will be for the next forever until someone cracks it, because I think it's a very, very profitable product. But if you hear from scientists, they are already saying things like AI will never understand why a joke is funny, or AI will, here are the problems that we think AI will never crack. And so I think video is on the list of things that could be. Now, we are betting it will be solved because our app helps you with the story, the characters, the beat sheet, the script, the storyboards. We soon will do previs animatics for like short clips. And if Sora comes out with an API and it works, we're going to plug it in, and then our users will be able to almost make a full movie on our app Saga. So we're betting on it. We hope it gets solved, but it's possible it may never get solved. The last thing I'll say is how we're different is we do not want humans to give up on acting. We think human acting is what makes movies. We love human actors. I love following them in real life and seeing them as they grow in their career over different movies. I think that people won't want to watch movies unless there are humans they know acting in them. I don't think the performances will be as good. They're certainly not yet. And so I'm not one of these people that think synthetic actors will replace all acting jobs. In fact, I think because there will be more projects made with AI, I would encourage people to get into acting. I think that's one of the important professions. Go to acting school. And I think it would be a travesty if the outcome of AI and filmmaking was that humans stopped learning acting and elevating it. It feels like every generation's elevating the craft. if that stops, I think that would be terrible.
So are we going to movies to actually see them play in a scenario, or because we've been invested with their, let's say, personal life on Twitter, as trashy as it sounds, I mean, we all have that in us. We're kind of curious, you know, we're all curious about other mammals.
Yeah.
You know, my cats watch other cats, people want to watch other people. But is that why we go? Where we want to see this?
I think it's definitely both. Interstellar is one of my favorite movies. I loved Matthew McConaughey in it. I've loved him since Dazed and Confused. I love when he is at events and gives interviews. And when I hear a movie's made and he's in it, it gets me excited. So there is that. One of the other things I like almost more than anything is I saw Killers of the Flower Moon, and seeing some of the new cast in there, people I've never heard of before, maybe people who've never acted before, like I believe her name is Molly, and I think she's up for the Academy Award for Best Actress. And so seeing people who I don't know in a movie, I feel like I get lost in it a bit more, and that is also appealing to me. So I think it's both, but the moral of the story is now I know her and I want to see her in the next movie, and I still want humans. One example I give is there was an AI rapper created recently called, I think, FK Mecca or something like that, and they had scanned in every rap song in the world, and now there was this robot that could rap. And I love hip-hop music, and when I listened to its song, the beat was good, but hearing this robot say, "I'm tough, grew up in the streets of Brooklyn, you know, no one messes with me, I ran the prison I was in," and just knowing this is all a lie. No, you didn't, you're a robot. I just was not interested, even though the beat was good. Whereas when I was growing up, 50 Cent came out and just took over the rap world. And part of it was this guy really got shot 9 times, and you could hear it in his voice because he got shot in the face. And just knowing there's a real person, the real story, a real perspective, a real lived experience. I think that he wasn't the best rapper technically, but it was just so compelling. That's why I think people go when they want to buy a painting. They want to go to the exhibit or the gallery and meet the artist and learn about their compelling life story, maybe as tragic as it is. And I think that's what makes art interesting and valuable, is the human touch. Last thing I'll say, I watched a Picasso documentary last night, and one of his most important paintings, it wasn't good, in my opinion. It wasn't his best. It was in his blue phase, so it had this weird blue tint, but it was of his friend who had killed himself because Picasso cheated on the girl he loved. And the painting, after I knew that story, the painting immediately was just, it changed from, oh, my kid could draw that, to, wow, I can feel why he's painting with the blue tint, even though everyone's telling him not to. It's him expressing his life story. So it's a long answer, but I think it's one of the most important things for your audience to hear is there will never be, I believe, completely AI-generated movies. And so the thing about executives are going to fire all filmmakers and robots will make all the movies, I just do not believe in that future. And I think people should be less concerned about it and just keep on with their careers, keep making great movies.